what are some of the obstacles you're navigating in your business? So from your standpoint, from the TC standpoint.
Yeah, so as our team as a whole, a couple of pieces when this first transpired and happened, we, have a lot of, our business was virtual to begin with. So we were able to pivot really quickly as far as how we interacted with people, et cetera. So we didn't have to set people up at home. So of course we have our main office in Seminole, but I have an office at home. So we were able to pivot really quickly. The piece that added some additional layers was a lot of our team members have kids at home, so we had to pivot that way a little bit with our team members having to work from home and having their kids at home and homeschooling, etc. So we had to make, a couple adjustments there and help each other in different ways. The other piece is emotionally, we are the calm in the storm in the transaction. And, a lot of times I joke that my degree is in psychology, but I use it every day in real estate just because we get it all from all sides, from title, from lender, from the agent we're working with, the other agent, the buyer, the seller. So the emotion was heightened. And so some of the team members were calling me like, Mandy, like, man, I am emotionally exhausted at the end of the day just because so many things are running at all angles at a very heightened piece. And normally it's very simple for us. Every personality on our team can handle that really well. But it was, it's getting a lot more calm now. I think everybody's getting in the groove. Everybody's kind of used to it. It took about 30 days, of course, to adjust, but we definitely had that element in there that we were kind of just figuring out how to continue to be the calm in the storm, when some of the kids were crying in the background and, some of that was heightened. The other piece was we saw about a 30% drop in business in our business. We were projected to have an amazing year, and we had obviously the last week of March we had about a 15% cancellation rate, where normally our cancellation rate is about 10% all year long. So we had a really big influx of cancellations that last week of March, just from so much uncertainty, unknown, problems we couldn't solve, problems we couldn't figure out as far as just the normal pandemic that was happening. So but since then, we have definitely seen an influx of contracts this week. Normally the last week of the month is when we get the most amount of contracts in. So I definitely think we're back on that upswing. So, our team is excited and, so many of them are so used to running 20 to 30 transactions a month. And then, when they get down to 15, they're like, is everything all right? So they're not used to being, a little bit slower. So that was.
We literally had to tell them in a team meeting, like, hey, this is a once in a 100 year situation. Like, things are going to be weird for a little while. You're not going to be doing as much business as you normally would. Like, we're doing our part to gin up the business and reach out to agents and stuff like that. And of course, love on the agents that we currently have, but it's also like, there's the reality of the situation. So it's like, and everybody's kind of understood that and settled into that, which, that helps moving forward. Cause then they just know, okay, this is a new reality for a little bit. And then hopefully we'll get back to normal, which I think a lot of people are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. So I think, generally speaking, people are on the up and up as far as like the emotional component of this. Like, we're starting to open up. Some states are starting to do things. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Hey, Mandy, a couple of quick questions just to kind of jump back on what you said. That was 15%, right? 15 is what you kind of saw come. Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you see, just out of curiosity, were you seeing more of the cancellation rate based off of just the deals that were canceling like we all see? Or did you see it based off of real estate agents at the same time were like, hey, I'm going to pull this back in and handle it myself, or keep it with you guys? Was that part of your cancellation as well, or does that make sense what I kind of
Yeah, I mean, normally once they hired us, we don't get paid unless it closes, so we don't have people pull deals throughout, the process.
Okay, good.
The only reason why we wouldn't, it wouldn't have closed is because the lender or obviously the emotion situation. So what I think happened was a lot of people just said, "Oh, I'm out. I still have an out. I got to get out," just because of the pandemic. So I think that's why we saw so much, because normally we have general cancellations for inspections or going bad or appraisals not coming in, or, they just can't come to agreement. So that's where our 10% comes in. That's pretty normal. But I think it really hiked up that week just because everything was so new and fresh and buyers freaked out, stock market, et cetera. And I just think people were like, "Oh, I'm going to pull out from this house until we figure out what's going on." So it was, because we track our cancellations as well. So it definitely was from the pandemic. So.
Okay. Well, and that's good to hear. I mean, as opposed to the other side of that. So,
yeah.
So, and then on a side note, just everybody on the call, just remember Mandy said she can help you as your personal psychologist. So, after this call, I need to set up a session. Abby actually helped me yesterday a little bit. So we had a mini session, but I need a full one. So,
$250 an hour, Chris. $250 an hour.
All right, put me on a payment plan.
Awesome.
All right. Sliding scale. I get it.